What up, Skate? Welcome to Bar Vibes with Bryce the Fourth, giving out raw reaction and interacting with the masses. No subject is safe. You hear the people and the noises, but that's the point, because without the people, what is the point? Embracing vibrations. I gotta preface this with the fact that I literally did this entire show yesterday, and for whatever reason, my computer decided, hey, let's go ahead and mute his microphone. Entire show. That's neither here nor there, but I'm back. So, you know the first thing that we need to talk about, Eagles-Rams. I'm handing out steak dinners today. And the first steak dinner, and if you know, that steak dinner goes out to Jordan Davis. My man had 5 tackles, 1 sack, 2 blocked field goals, and 1 for a tutty to seal the game. Ooh-wee! Hey, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm aware of how, things go with the Eagles. I'm like, yeah, this, you might as well call it. They fought hard. That's why I don't play the game. They came out there. He just rocked my table. They came out there and showed resilience. I don't know what the conversation was in the locker room. I don't know what was said, obviously, because that's just not my expertise. But what I think was said was, everybody needs to step the fuck up. And I do think that conversation that Jalen had with Patullo on the sideline had a lot to do with it. Where it's like, we recognize that we're not being as aggressive as we need to be. And they weren't. And yet, here they come out. Started off 26-7, ended 26-7 in favor of the Birds. My second steak, and I just found out today that he's on IR, and I don't know why, but Jacorian Bennett, he's a cornerback. If you watch the play, he dives into the kicker to make sure he doesn't pick up the ball. And then that's when Jordan Davis is like, oh, well, let me pick this thing up and rumble it on down. My third steak of the day goes to Jeff Stoutland, understanding that Matt Pryor just wasn't getting it done at right tackle when Lane Johnson went down. And to the people who are like, oh my God, is Lane going to play? Yeah, he said he's going to play. He has a stinger. He was just like, I can't do it today, which is fine. But Fred Johnson comes in and absolutely shuts down anything that Jared Verse, Rookie of the Year last year, had to do. And then, of course, the final one at the table is Jalen Hurts. People talk about how he can't pass the ball and he can't, be a quarterback. He's a runner. No, I'll give you 206 for 3 tutties, no turnovers. Why not? A.J. Brown strong-arming cornerbacks for first downs on third downs. And then you got Smitty doing his thing. You get wide open Dallas Goedert down the middle. Eagles can beat you in any way. The Rams did their best, and they gave the Eagles their best in the first half, But then they got flat. I saw a former player, Aqib Talib, who was like, I hate going into the locker room with a big lead because then you get complacent. And that's exactly what happened to the Rams. Exactly what happened to them. They thought they were coming back out, do exactly what they did. Nope. Eagles went up tempo, made sure they didn't get into those weird defensive plays where you can just send, a safety, or you could send a linebacker. Shout out to Vic Fangio for making sure that his D lineman understood we can dominate this game. Zach Bone with the pick. Hey, listen. Eagles are 3-0. And they're 3-0 for a reason. They've tasted defeat at the biggest stage, and they've tasted success at the biggest stage. the success at the biggest stage is the better of the taste. I'm just saying. Go Birds. The Dolphins versus the Bills. Tua doing it again. The Dolphins had a real chance to win. They scored in their opening drive. It was back and forth. But then Josh Allen was like, nope, I'm on my A game. They don't have like a number one, but they got a lot of number twos and they got a couple number threes. As long as you're open, Josh Allen's going to get you the ball. I promise you that. And then you get Tyreek Hill with a huge drop, and then you get Zach Sealer. And the Dolphins were in this game, and I was watching this game. The Dolphins were in this game, and then he decides, and I get it, he was trying to block the punt. But you get a 3-and-out with a chance to go down and take the lead, and he roughs the punter. And that was it. That was murder, she wrote. And then you get another chance for Tua, and then he throws it straight to the Bills linebacker. And I mean, not like, oh, it like deflected. No, he threw it directly to him. You hate to see it. This is the first time that the Dolphins have been 0-3 since 2019, and in 2019, that was when they drafted Tua. Ouch. Colts and the Titans, excuse me. The Colts have had one punt in 3 weeks. That is the least amount of punts in 3 weeks to start a season since 1947. Daniel Jones has a resurgence, and people are going to say, oh, yeah, he did that before with the Giants. It's a little different right now. He has no turnovers, and when I say it's different, it's because he's not pressing. It's not just on him. Because I think that year Saquon wasn't doing really well, and it was on his shoulders. This time he's got a couple of receivers. He's got a good defense. He's got Tyler Warren, which was a great pick by the Colts. JT, Jonathan Taylor, is a monster. I always said if we didn't have Saquon and we're like, hey, you could have any other back in the league, it would be JT. JT runs with purpose. Purpose. The Titans just make way too many mistakes. They had a lot of chances in this game because they were getting the Colts in third downs and punts, and they just couldn't get it done. You got to get Cam Ward some protection. The pick he threw it in the first quarter that opened the game was, you got to stop doing that. He trusts his arm way too much. And I'm a Miami fan, and I have love for Cam Ward. You got to stop doing that, my guy. Shout out to the Colts for being 3-0. My homie, my best friend Daniel, when he is privy to the Colts being good, that's awesome. The Lions and the Ravens, the Lions figured out that the game is won in the trenches. Their defensive line dominated. Offensive line kept Jared Goff clean. And I don't know what it is, but the defensive coach for the Lions figured out if you see Lamar running, just hit his feet. Don't try to tackle him because he's gonna elude it. Get to his feet, and it worked. The Lions run a very balanced offense. I saw at one point it was like 23 runs, 22 passes. I was like, for some teams, that's just how you get it done. And the Ravens got away from the run, and I saw it from a mile away that Derrick Henry was going to fumble, and yet he did. 2 back-breaking fumbles in the last 3 games. When are you going to stop doing this? They're 1-2, the Ravens. You got to stop. You just do. The Cowboys and the Bears, are they still them boys? Are they still them boys? Their record would say no. The game started off very normal. It was 14-14. Their running back, the running back for the Cowboys, had the ball literally stripped out of his hands. But still, it was 14-14, and then it wasn't. I was surprised that the Cowboys didn't come out of the half slinging it. There was no scores until 13 minutes into the second half. And I will say this, both defenses were okay, but Caleb Williams was like, this is why I was drafted in the first round. 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. I think he had maybe 8 incompletions. Ben Johnson dug into his playbook, made sure that his quarterback was comfortable. No sacks for Caleb Williams. And then people were like, "Oh, well, CD got hurt." And I thought the Cowboys had 2 number ones, and of course, George Pickens had that one-handed snag was nasty for a touchdown. But then he also crashed out in George Pickens fashion, slamming his helmet because he's pissed. The Bears defense, they were big with the takeaways, and they had a lot of stops on third downs. And the Cowboys were number 1 on third downs going into this game, and just didn't happen. Are they still them boys? Answer the question. The Niners and the Cardinals. Good old Mac Jones delivering a game-winning drive. He had one good leg. He had a brace on his leg for the most of the game. And even when Christian McCaffrey couldn't get it going, Niners found a way to win. This was a rock fight. I'm throwing a rock. I'm ducking behind. It was 15-16. Both defenses refused to give up in the red zone. Ricky Pearsall was killing them in the and with one route, it's up in, and he's sitting down in the zone. They couldn't figure it out, and once they did, it was a pass interference. Kyler Murray needs to have a meeting with Marvin Harrison Jr. He just needs to have a one-on-one with him. Sir, I'm throwing you the ball on target, and you're just dropping him. Just dropping him. And Kyler Murray was doing his thing, running around when the defense gave him the opportunity to do so. He needs to figure that out. And I mean Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know if he has the yips. Don't know what that's about. Nick Bosa Jr., he tore his ACL, which sucks. Niners, and you get a lot of people being like, oh, this team's injured. No, they're actually very injured. And it sucks, but it doesn't suck for me. Packers and Browns. Well, look at the Browns winning a September win. The Browns' run game was very strong, and they don't ask much from Joe Flacco. They just want to make sure that they can hold on to the game because their defense is pretty good because they have Myles Garrett. Where in the world were you thought that this week they were going to beat the Packers? They had constant pressure on Jordan Love, and the Packers couldn't run the ball. You normally expect a touchdown from them on the ground. There was no point scored in this game until the end of the second quarter. The Packers better do something because the Lions will be pulling away in this division, and the Browns will ruin some playoff teams' chances if they don't even get there because the Bengals are Ravens are 1-2. We'll figure that out as the season goes. The Chiefs and the Giants. The Chiefs were pretty efficient, minus a lot of third and longs. I mean, like 3rd and 12, 3rd and 18, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 25. I guess that's penalties, but it's more so they can't run the ball. They don't have a deep threat. They miss Rashee Rice, and you get Patrick Mahomes throwing a backwards pass, and he has to go and get the fumble away from Okunro for the Giants. That was a weird play. The biggest takeaway from this game, obviously, is that Mr. Unlimited is done. It's down, not up. It's down for you, Mr. Wilson. Go ahead and sit on the bench. That 4-play sequence in the red zone where he threw out of the end zone, got sacked, threw out of the end zone, hit the goalpost, which is weird, and then threw out of the end zone again. Why? You get a gem with Cam Scatterbo. He is the only bright spot for the Giants. He runs hard. He is what every Giants fan wants in a running back. The Chiefs would have lost this game to a really good team, but they didn't play a good team. They played the Giants. You hate to see it. Again, I don't. They do. Steelers and Patriots. Aaron Rodgers passed Brett Favre for 4th in touchdowns. He passed Phillip Rivers and 7th for passing yards. The Steelers. This was a classic Steelers game where you ask your quarterback to just do the bare minimum, and then the defense is just going to step up. The Steelers defense had 5 turnovers. Now, if I'm the Patriots and I'm in the locker room, I'm looking at Ramondre Stevenson like, currently he has more fumbles than he has touchdowns in the last 2 years. Ouch. They had 2 red zone turnovers, and when I say red zone, I mean like in the 5, not even the 10. In the 5, because Drake May threw a pick, and then Ramondre Stevenson fumbled twice. He needs to be reprimanded. He's already got 4 fumbles this year, and it's not even October. The Patriots haven't won a back-to-back game since 2022. 2022. This has been a long time for the Steelers beating the Patriots. Shout out to my guy Kenny Gainwell. He got in, got himself a couple touchdowns. Super Bowl champion. The Bucs and the Jets. This was a remarkable game. They had everything you wanted. They had big runs from Breece Hall and Bucky. Both defensive lines were wrecking the other O-lines. Baker fumbled, Tyrod fumbled, and the Jets just don't have any other weapons other than Garrett Wilson. Obviously, the story of this game was the Jets looked like they were done. They get an 80-yard drive from Tyrod Taylor. Then they get a touchdown blocked when they go up, and then Baker Mayfield said, go ahead and hold my beer real quick. Baker Mayfield is a gamer. If I'm Johnny Manziel, I'm like, damn, wish that could have been me. I felt bad for my guy, Alex, and I didn't want to call him, and I didn't. I talked to him about it, but Baker Mayfield just went down the field and just delivered. Bucs are a force to be reckoned with. I mean, Eagles play them next week. Bucs are a force to be reckoned with. The Raiders and the Commanders. The Raiders have an O-line problem. I'm tired of not seeing Ashton Genty play. You drafted him 4th overall, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd. Block for this man. And then you get Geno Smith, like, back foot throwing, because he's not, he can run, but he's not a runner. And then Trey Tucker, their receiver, is the only bright spot on the team because he had 3 touchdowns, but 2 of them were in garbage. Marcus Mariota played his game. He runs. He can throw it a little bit. He's got a deep ball. Pause. But the Commanders' run game with him and Bill and McNichols, pretty good. I was afraid that Terry McLaurin wasn't going to show up, and certainly he did. Almost scored a touchdown. And I think my favorite thing is that Debo did not take kindly to those fat jokes people were making about him. He's returning kicks and returning them very well. And the Commanders, I mean, I don't think that Jaden's going to have a sophomore slump. I mean, obviously he didn't play this week. But, again, I need him to learn how to get down on the ground just for his sake. For his sake. The Panthers and the Falcons. Honestly, there was not much to say here because the Falcons didn't score any fucking points. Michael Penix had 2 awful interceptions. Threw it in the flat straight to the fucking cornerback. And I don't know what it is about them not running Bijan, but he's great in the pass game, sure. Bryce Young did just enough to keep his team around. He wasn't passing it too well, but he was running it. He was keeping plays alive. And the Panthers' defense was just everywhere. My favorite story from this is the kicker situation for the Falcons. You get rid of Younghoe Koo. You bring in a kicker. He kicks 5. Get him straight through. And then this week, misses 2. Now, I understand it's a week-to-week thing, but I could have saved you the game. And then I see Kirk Cousins get in the game. Simmer down. It was I don't want my players to get hurt thing where they knew they were going to lose the game. It's okay. The Seahawks and the Saints. You get a lot of games where they're like, oh, this game was over at halftime. No, this game was over at halftime. The Seahawks ran 15 offensive plays in the first half, and they were up 31, 38, 35, excuse me. The Seahawks special teams was impressive. You get a lot of big returns. You get a punt block. The Saints, not so much. It's the best game I've seen from Sam Darnold this year. He looked poised. He was breaking sack tackles. I don't know if that's a pause, but I'm not going to pause it. Who cares? And the Saints need to figure out their quarterback situation immediately. I don't know what they're telling Rattler, but this is just not it. In a division that I guess was a toss-up, but not really because the Bucs are probably going to win it, but they need to figure that out. Seahawks did what they needed to do, but again, the game was over. The Texans and the Jags. The Texans are singing the same old song, cannot protect the quarterback. They just can't. And people are going to say CJ Stroud, sophomore slump, or, not sophomore slump, it's his third year. But it's a slump. He doesn't have any weapons other than Nico Collins. I mean, Christian Kirk was out there. I don't know. The easy turnovers for both sides. CJ Stroud threw a terrible fucking pick. And then 2 plays later, Trevor Lawrence throws a fucking terrible pick. That's why it was 17-10. Trevor Lawrence doesn't seem to trust his reads. He was 3 for 14 on third downs because he was holding the ball instead of just throwing it. You finally get a big play from Travis Hunter, and my biggest takeaway from this game is Brian Thomas Jr. he just needs to make an order to the hand store. Either the hand store or the confidence store, because there's a ball in his vicinity. Either he doesn't go get it or he drops it. Yeah, he had that 43-yard play. He was wide open. But when he's contested, that man does not want to catch that football. Do something about that. Broncos and the Chargers. Cameron Dicker, the kicker, is the most accurate now kicker in NFL history. 94% with the kicker who has at least 100 attempts. This is the first 3-0 start for the Chargers in 23 years. Justin Herbert seems really confident. He did have 300 yards, but he also was under 60% completion percentage, but that's because their best running back, Najee Harris, tore his Achilles. It was a weird play. You watch it. He went out of his break, and you can see that it popped. Derwin James is an absolute animal. He had 10 tackles, a sack, 4 for loss, and was just all over the place. And I don't even know where Quentin Johnson came from, the wide receiver from the Chargers. He used to drop everything. He's catching everything. The Broncos defense gave them every chance to take a lead. But they were always in 3rd and longs on offense. So at that point, you need a possession receiver. I thought it was Courtland Sutton, and it's not, even though he did have a touchdown. They need a receiver or a tight end they can rely on to get them first downs. Bengals and Vikings. The Bengals got Isaiah Rodgers. He had a pick 6, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble for a touchdown. What else could you ask for? And I know people are going like, oh my God, didn't the Eagles have the... I don't want to hear it. Whatever. People have good days. Shut it. Jake Browning is not the savior for them while they don't have Joe Burrow. It's just not true. When he finally got a chance to have a week, and it just didn't look good. 48-10 is bad. Carson Wentz did the bare minimum, and it seemed to work because the Bengals defense is fucking terrible. Jordan Mason, the running back from the Vikings, just ran circles around him. They had 5 turnovers, the Bengals. 5 turnovers. The Vikings took their backup out, Carson Wentz, for another backup because they were winning so well. And I tell you this right now, Carson Wentz wants this job. He wants this job. If their starting quarterback JJ is still sitting on the bench after a couple weeks. Yeah. In other news, MLB playoffs are on the way. The Phils could clinch a bye tonight, which I would love to see. And Liverpool won their Carabao Cup league play. Shout out to Leone. He tore his ACL, which I heard today, which sucks because he's a young player. But he's got time to recover. My Please Explain is Tevin Campbell, Can We Talk? Now, my thing is, go look at the lyrics of this song. He said that he didn't know her name, but he sent her a letter. How did you do that, stalker? Big Stalky McStalkerson? That's weird. Hate to see that. How did you send this lady a letter when you didn't even know her name? And you asked her multiple times. Clearly, she didn't want you to know who she was. Weird. Big ups to the first. Stay focused and be great. Take a sip. I've been drinking agua because I got 10 days until my left hand has another ring on it. Go Birds!